Hello and welcome to LedgerCast. My name is Brian Karsgaard here with the one and the only, the Phillies fan, Josh Olszewicz.
I don't know if I'm a Phillies fan. I did recently move to Philadelphia. This may be late breaking news here. I don't think I've ever said that publicly outside of business meetings, but
You're
I
wearing a
am.
Phillies shirt right now.
I know, and that was a choice that I made consciously to announce to the world that yes, I do live in the Philly area. So that's that.
I like Philly. Philly's a fun place.
It's definitely been fun for sure.
Good. And you have a nice house in Philly there. I can see behind you.
Yeah. Yeah. This old house,
Yeah. Josh, how's your not quite summer going?
Well, I don't want to start talking about weather because you always yell at me when I talk about weather, but us here on the East Coast, we're enjoying the nice Quebec smoke over the past week.
Oh, is it getting to you as well?
Yeah, so
You're saying it's not just in New York City? That's not the only place the smoke has siphoned to?
I saw an interesting story that said people in SF and the West, when all those fires were happening, like it wasn't that big of a deal to the country. Whereas like when it happens in New York, though, then it's business, then it's a problem. I don't know. I felt like it was plenty publicized when it was happening in SF, but it wasn't happening to me. So now that it's happening to me, it's a bigger deal. But anyway, it's mostly rolled through by now.
Gotcha. Well, so you're not able to be as outside as you'd like to be, I presume.
Not over the past couple of days, but let's be honest. Do I look like somebody who goes outside? I mean, let's be real here. So I asked the good people on Twitter, what should we talk about? Because I don't think there's that much to talk about, right?
Yeah,
that's why we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks here. But can I play a little game?
Let's play a little game.
I think so. The game's called Josh Knows What Ledger's going to say.
Okay. That's good because Ledger doesn't know what Ledger's going to say.
Now, you did tip it a little bit because you said something on Twitter like, show me the candle where the SEC sued two of the largest exchanges in the same week or something.
I did.
So you're 100% right, and I agree with you. So I don't want anything I say after this to be like misconstrued as turbo bearish, but you don't really see it on the chart. You don't see.
Yeah, I got the chart pulled up.
The reaction. Here. You don't see the effect. Arguably, there shouldn't be one for Bitcoin. Arguably, like may we end up crashing the entirety of the rest of the U.S. market in the crypto industry. Yeah, I think Gemini, Kraken, Coinbase, Crypto.com, Binance US, we're not going to have some of those names in a year from now. That's my guess.
Spicy. Well, maybe the Binance US one's not that spicy.
No, that's a bold call. I know, bold. But it doesn't fundamentally affect the networks. That affects people's ability to buy this stuff, sure. Mm-hmm. More so the bottom of the Coinbase list, which we were talking about in the pre-show.
Yeah.
That stuff.
What's your path to buy random tokens that are just easier to not list? Or to
look, if people, again, this is not a secret, but if people want to use the VPN and trade some offshore exchange 100x futures, they're going to do it, right?
There will always be a venue for that.
They are never going to do that on U.S. soil with KYC. That's just never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So, yes, I agree. That'll always be offshore, whatever. We're always going to have DeFi in some form. I think much like centralized exchanges, DeFi is going to just ring fence the US off entirely by IP, right? They're even potentially going to do it through MetaMask. I can see some measures taken there where you're basically identified through MetaMask. So you're going to have to use some other, hardware wallet or whatever. But, there's workarounds for that. So I don't think DeFi is going to be dead, but it's going to look a lot different. I think they might even, as far as go after like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko.
Really?
I don't know if you remember like the ICO data sites.
Yeah, like ICO drops or whatever.
Yeah, so some of those are still around, certainly. But the one big one I'm blanking on that I used to go for data, the SEC went after them. I think maybe because they were taking money for listings or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But I can see something like that. This isn't FUD. I'm just saying, look, what are the possibilities here? This was part of the questions I asked. Somebody said, look at various regulatory scenarios. How do we plan for that? So look, this stuff can happen. It's not like out of the question. And until a new regulatory regime or SEC environment changes, like the trend is your friend until the end, and the trend is they want you pounded into submission until it's over.
Yeah, they want to strangle the providers to the degree that it's hard for the consumers to actually participate, and then it just disappears.
Yeah, and we're
And
already
we say they as in like really isolated to the SEC. This isn't really like coordinated CFTC action or legislative action or anything. It's basically the SEC.
Now, does crypto broadly at large deserve what it's getting? Again, you go down that list at Coinbase. I just bring them up because they're publicly traded. Go down the list at Robinhood. I dare you. Okay.
I dare you. They just delisted some stuff today, apparently.
They did, and they have different licensing relative to Coinbase, which was one argument as to why Robinhood's a little more sensitive to that. I don't know if the broker-dealer license is the term, but that's part of it. Yeah, they delisted Cardano, Solana, Polygon, but Shiba Inu still there. ETH Classic, Bitcoin Cash, list of some other junk. So yeah, if you're holding this stuff, I'm not saying sell it, but again, people are asking like, okay, how do you plan around this? Well, if you think something may be hit by news or a regulatory event, plan accordingly, right? Or just hold through it and say, I can take the pain. That's up to you. I mean, look at the list this past week.
Well, once again, we see evidence in a bear market that the incentive to hold something that's not Bitcoin or Ethereum is quite low.
Yeah.
Your pure hold risk is higher in most of those coins.
Over the past week, okay, here's the list. BNB 15%, Cardano 18%, down. Polygon 16%, Shiba 7%, Atom 12%, Internet Computer 10%, Aptos 16%. I don't know what Aptos is. I don't know what it does. I know it's got DeFi. I know it's some like copy paste thing.
It's a layer one.
Yeah, right. That much I know. Sui, I'm sure, is on this list. Sandbox, that was all like some metaverse hype stuff, down 15%.
16 to 20% is not even that much.
No, but that's just past week. That's all I'm saying. You're right. It isn't that much. This stuff can go up 35, 50x in a month, whatever. But if you're trying to plan accordingly for
Bitcoin, 2.5%.
Things you're trying to watch out for. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's potential grenades out there. If you're holding something that regulators are saying pretty clearly they believe are securities, and they're trying to make them securities through attacking the providers. And I think it's all a mess. I think it's been well discussed on Twitter and blog posts and whatnot that the pathway that the SEC is taking is really not helping protect consumers. It's not really fitting their mandate, but nevertheless, it's the path that they're taking. And it creates landmines for consumers, retail people like us who seek to participate in markets. They're trying to close down some of these markets pretty clearly in my mind. I think it is really pushing a lot of stuff off the US, and the US is like really threatening to kind of China itself, just to where you say like, all right, well, China banned Bitcoin, China banned Bitcoin, China banned Bitcoin, and the US bans crypto, US bans crypto, US bans crypto over and over again, which doesn't eliminate crypto. It just eliminates the US's role in crypto. And I think that's pretty stupid.
Well, you could argue like we have the biggest capital markets in the world. We have the best rule of law in the world. Like we have the, maybe not the longest history, but being being delisted from the United States effectively is a pretty strong regulatory statement.
It
and
is.
maybe these things can be born again as legitimate securities. Like being a security isn't the end of the world. It just comes with specific reporting requirements, right?
It does, and it also makes it significantly harder for people to participate. I think the rules around securities are stupid. First off, same as the
shout out to
rules.
Joey real quick. We do have the best rule of law, Joey. I know who you are. See, that's a Carpe Noctem super fan.
Nice. Yeah, I
They
think
may
the
be
rules for
stupid, but
securities, the
they're
rules for accredited investors, whatnot, it's just silly. I do think there's probably room to say what are regulations that are appropriate, specific to digital assets, or like a better, newer, more up to date test than the Howey test. Like,
well, here's what we can't have. We cannot have this in the United States. We just can't. We can't have an ICO minting tokens on a dream with nothing behind it. VCs buying the SAFT, the coin getting listed on an exchange, and then things just getting dumped on retail. That to me is protecting consumers if they're going after that.
well,
behavior.
but they also didn't like it for retail themselves to be able to purchase those things kind of in a Kickstarter type fashion. That's what the true original ICOs were, where it was.
But if we're being
open to
honest,
retail.
like, yes, fundraising before the project gets started makes sense on paper, but in reality, how it actually plays out is most of these projects never had a chance anyway, and it's just a cash grab, right? So there's got to be some middle.
Maybe.
There's got to be some middle.
A lot of companies raise before they build.
Sure, but if you're like on the libertarian side, not that I'm saying you are, but if you are, you're like, okay, if people want to spend their money however they want to spend it, go for it. But the problem is, in practice, you were there, I was there. Look at the list of ICOs in 2015, 16. What percentage of them still are around?
Yeah, but look at the percentage of VC-backed companies. Most of them fail too.
Yeah, and there's IPOs that fail, and like this happens, but they have different rules behind being allowed to fail. They fail in different ways.
Are you pro the actions that were taken by Gary Gensler, or did you think that it was too heavy-handed or some other critique?
I'm pro not seeing things listed in certain places. I'm pro never hearing about Pepe or Shiba Inu or any of this other crap ever again. Like, that stuff I cannot stand. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here for the latest meme coin clone. Okay. That's just my opinion. I know that's not maybe a popular opinion, but
what's funny about some of those meme coins is some of those don't have any kind of ICO or anything else. Like they may actually, they may in fact have a better case that they can be traded as a utility or commodity or whatever, which is funny. I mean, some of them did like their own little send me money type of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I just think having a clear. So I agree. I don't think what the SEC is doing is the best way to go about it.
I don't think it's helpful is the problem. All it does is hurt. It hurts good actors, people that are trying to be good actors. It hurts people that are trying to be in America and do business of some sort. It hurts retail consumers who are already invested in some of those things. It hurts exchanges and other companies in crypto who, all in all, have tried to be good actors. Like, and take Coinbase for example, they've been seeking information for over a year on some of this stuff. The SEC never answered and refused to answer, and then sued them. Like, there's some interesting legal stuff going on there. I'm not sure if you're paying attention to.
No, yeah, definitely. Well, that's the bigger problem. We don't have. When people say they want regulatory clarity, for me that means, okay, give me the steps at which I take to do the right thing. And if that isn't presented, then of course there's a problem.
And that's what occurred.
But I think that's going to take legislation. Without legislation, you're having exactly what's playing out, where one guy is saying,
they have more wiggle room to provide guidance, which they have overall not provided the guidance that the industry is sought after. Circle was just talking about this the other day, right? That please regulate us. We would love to have better guidance.
I mean, stable coins are another animal entirely in my mind than like,
but it's the same concept.
Here's a project, you minted coins, you have a pre-mine, you have a foundation, you have quarterly reports. Like, to me, it goes back to the Ripple case, all like that we've been talking about for years, that still is like in limbo. That to me is not a decentralized company. That to me probably classifies as a security. So it's like, okay, like it's cut and dry. Chainlink, like you could go down the list, right? Any company that has coins that they've minted and are selling, that's it. That's the ball game, right? Including ETH. ETH, you could say the statute of limitations is over. It's already sufficiently decentralized, whatever, but they very clearly had some sort of public raise that met securities conditions. Say what you want about ETH, but that's my feeling. And that's not coming from like a pro Bitcoin. That's just like purely like just laying it out. Like, what do they do? Yeah, it's probably a security. Is it still a security? I don't know.
What I would like to see is regulators that are more engaged with companies that are trying to put their best foot forward. And instead, they're not engaged with them.
Okay, let me
they're coming
fire back
forward.
at that. Is listing Shiba Inu putting your best foot forward? Is listing? Let's go.
Their customers.
Yeah,
it's their customers were screaming for it, for some of those things.
Well, how does an exchange make money? In my mind, they make money off of trading fees, right?
Yeah.
So all exchanges always want to list as much as humanly possible. Binance, of course, being the most egregious case, right? Where they will literally list anything. They don't care what it is, and they see fees from trading, right?
Yeah, I think there's a balance personally, but I'm not even sure that you can make a strong case that Shiba Inu is a security. Like, I don't know the background on Shiba Inu. Like,
sure, I encourage everybody to go to Coinbase.com. Don't even go to the pro side. Just go to Coinbase.com.
You just don't like shitcoins, is really what you're saying.
I don't care if people trade them. I just want people to know what they're trading, because you get people seeing this stuff loading into Coinbase. They're like, oh, that's cool. Like, this sounds cool. They have no idea that, oh, this is like a 30% pre-mine sold for 2 pennies on the dollar to some VC that's going to dump it on me.
Look at what we allow in public markets. Does it really fix it? Like what GME was doing, and the multiples on sales for a Peloton, or Arrival, my favorite SPAC chart in the world. Can I show you that one?
I mean, SPACs are a whole nother animal.
But they are a thing.
They are a thing. They are a thing.
Look at this.
I do think we need some sort of guardrails.
Do you feel protected?
That's all I'm saying.
Do you feel protected on this on this chart?
No, but I also didn't buy it with the assumption that's pretty bad. I didn't buy it with the assumption that it's going to go up, right? With the assumption that there's some sort of community or there's some sort of utility, right? What is that even for, Arrival?
Electric vehicles.
Oh, okay.
And it went to top of the wick was $1,859, 99.91% down. I mean, come on.
Yeah, stocks go down 95%, 99%. I get it. That happens. But there's also different rules behind that. That's all I'm saying. Well, I would love to be able to go to a place and trade this stuff knowing that they follow certain rules. I think that's what everybody wants.
You know what I want? I want free market access as an individual trader, to be able to have the same type of access that other people in the world have. I think the US continuously tries to treat markets as if American markets mean it's the only way a market can exist, rather than global markets are a thing and anything and everything can be traded globally. I think what would be more interesting is enabling Americans to facilitate speculation with all of the available tools and resources that everyone else in the world has. because I can invest in stuff, but then not have access to secondary markets or derivative markets or things like that as an individual in the US. Like I can be a angel investor, but then I can't go participate in the markets that investment then ends up trading on. That's hilarious to me. I think better, more open, freer markets will actually create more efficient markets that better protect consumers in the long run versus trying to be like, Mr. Babysitter
Well, that what you're
over everything
saying,
that's occurring.
I agree with. Like, we need a level playing field, and I'm saying we're not getting that with Coinbase listing SUI that's down 84% in a month and a half. Right? Like,
No, I think you get the level playing field by creating open markets through things like Uniswap or centralized exchanges, whatever, that provide access to those markets. Maybe with some fair warnings, but like I don't know that trading SUI is that much more damaging, or I don't think it's more damaging than like smoking cigarettes. I'm allowed to do that. Like I am pretty libertarian on market access in this regard, and even like labeling different things. Like you can waste your money and buy things from a speculative perspective all day long. And at what point do you just say like, okay, well, speculation is bad, so like therefore we will not allow it? Versus speculation is just a part of life. Anything that I buy, if I buy a physical collectible, is it a security? If I buy a Rolex, should I be banned from doing so because I have an expectation that the value of it might go up over time? Is that a security? Does a Rolex pass the Howey test?
I don't think you want me to answer that. No, it doesn't. But I'm trying to go over it in my head.
Dave brings up a great point here.
It doesn't, but NFTs might.
It's hard to argue Americans shouldn't have access to Uniswap or Binance when DraftKings is a thing. When the house always wins and you are going to lose, and they're like, oh, don't worry, lose your first game on us. We will give you more money to make sure that you get that dopamine hit and that you have an opportunity to play. And they are allowed to spend millions of dollars advertising on every freaking sports channel, game, etc. possible to create markets, literal markets for gambling on sports, but you can't freaking go on Uniswap and invest in a protocol. Screw that. That's where that makes me lose my mind. I can hop into a casino and put unlimited amounts of money. There's not a barrier on what I can do there. Unlimited amounts of money where my best odds of success are like 49% of the time I have a chance to win. And I can do that all day long. I can sit there and pull the lever, or I can play blackjack or craps or whatever the hell, and with everything I own. But I can't buy Shiba Inu. Okay.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. DraftKings is a better lobbyist, clearly. Crypto is one of the most ineffective groups of lobbyists across the board.
I agree with that. And also it's becoming highly partisan, which I hate, which we've talked about.
But if they think they're trying to protect Main Street and grandmothers, right? What's the old like 1929 adage? I forget. I don't know. There has to be some balance. That's all I'm saying. There has to be some balance here. Trade it all you want. Put it on a separate tab where you need specific rules and guidelines, right? I don't care. What do I care, right? Make 100 million tokens, call it PRX, and do whatever you want. I'm just saying there needs to be some balance here between what's listed on exchanges. That's all I want.
Yeah, I just think somebody forever ago made some decisions about why and how they're protecting people, and then other things we obviously are just taking advantage of the most vulnerable. Like take, for example, every state lottery. State lotteries only take advantage of people who are desperate and poor and who don't, or even though they know the odds are basically zero for them to win, they still do it because the lightning strike chance that they can become a millionaire is better than the lack of any hope of moving up in the world. And we use that highly inefficient process and parasitic process on the poor to raise money to send rich kids to state schools. Come on. Like,
you're also talking about gambling versus investing. But I think the worst part about
but so what? We enable gambling.
Right. Okay, that's fine. But it's two different things, right? I agree it doesn't make it okay. But to me, the worst thing about the gambling stuff is that they specifically market the I don't know, the gambling, whatever you want to call it, the ads around like public.
Yeah, you're helping people go to, state schools. Like, you're helping the school system.
I'm trying not to say welfare, but they market it around the welfare payments so that when you get your welfare payment, that's when you're more likely to spend it. And
yeah, that's disgusting.
They force that in front of you. Anyway,
I just think we have an imbalance in America of what and how we regulate and what we're supposedly accomplishing. And then you look at the things that are allowed, and it's just like, how can you justify these two things, these two sides? Like, we're such a nanny state in some ways, and then in other ways, we basically allow people to be financially raped and pillaged on a regular basis without consequence or any form of even necessity to educate the populace over the consequences of their decisions. And it's even worse when the perpetrator is a state actor, which is how most state lotteries are run.
I agree, it's bad. But so is gambling on random garbage on Coinbase, right? To me.
Yeah, but look at but
should you be allowed to do that? Yeah, but there should also be some distinction there for somebody who's just loading up Coinbase, like, oh, cool, this is up 200% a week. Awesome. Now I'm part of the community.
I think the market should be able to decide those things. We decide those things. We allow the market to decide that with many other things. We don't like ban Beanie Baby collections because Beanie Babies go up a lot. You know what I mean? Like, we just let the market play it out, and that's okay. If people want to spend thousands of dollars on a plushie that costs 50 cents to make, then we let them, because it's a free market. I think if you're providing massive misinformation or lying or fraud and whatnot, if you're trying to market investment in a corporate entity, then the corporate entity deserves to go to jail. But, like, are you putting the onus on the exchange to say, well, like, we don't know what they are or are not doing as a corporate entity, like, versus be a platform for the exchange of assets? That's what I would prefer.
Well, either we list everything or we have rules that say things need to be a specific type of thing. That's all I want. That's it. If you want to trade everything, yeah, you're always going to be able to do that through access.
I think enabling
VPN, right?
enabling the trading of everything, and I mean literally, like, make anything tradable. Why not? Like, let people do it. I think it's fine, and I think the onus should be on those who create the tradable thing. And what the U.S. government's doing is putting the onus on the platform. And especially when that's an evolving test, right?
Well, that's the commerce hub. So of course they would go after the exchange.
Yeah, but
somebody needs to take responsibility for something, right? That's basically the opposite of what you're saying. Where you're saying, like, look, if somebody wants to lose all their money, that's their choice. And I'm saying we can't fill, school lunches with 500 grams of sugar every day, right? We need, like, some sort of rules around that. We need somebody to do something. That's what I'm saying. So that's not crypto. That's not crypto's all about. I know, but that's my argument.
No. Well, nevertheless, Coinbase got sued. Binance got sued. Binance has a little more juice behind it, I guess, because it looks like some pretty serious, like, impropriety or operating.
Binance's entire 100 and something pages should be of zero surprise to anybody who's paid attention for any amount of time. Like, sorry, of course they're doing the worst of the worst. Okay.
I will say the screenshot on that one by the SEC was pretty funny. Like, the COO guy of Binance really put his foot in his mouth.
Binance historically has been a net seller as an exchange of everything, because that's where all the scams, all the criminals, all the terrorists, that's where they go to cash out, people. Sorry, that's where they go. Where else are they going to go? They go to Binance. So that's I think that's a well-known fact. It's what it is.
It's a well-known fact that terrorists go to Binance.
I think so. Google it. Don't sue me. It's easy. Google it.
What is CZ can't sue you? What court?
Where
They gotta come prosecute you in the U.S.
Where do all the North Korean scams cash out, or the North Korean hackers? They go to Binance. I don't know.
I think you are getting at something that probably plays a bigger role in terms of why the U.S. doesn't like a lot of this, which is, wow. Mark Rumsfeld said, "I thought they went to Bits Lotto," which is good. It's good. I like that. I think a lot of these questions are not so much about consumers, and it's more about like state level actors and what the government feels like they may lose control over when crypto platforms or crypto rails or whatever start to eliminate the power of dollar hegemony. And I think that might be where some of the crypto fear out of the government comes from. Like the story that we're not saying out loud.
Well, that's certainly a part of it, but I don't think, well, maybe in Gensler's mind, when he's saying things like, we don't need cryptocurrencies, we already have the dollar. Like, bro, wake up. Wake up. I don't know. I feel like we beat this horse to death, but.
McLovin asks, do I legitimately think Binance is going anywhere? And then it says, because I don't. I don't think Binance.com is going to really go anywhere unless like the major powers, CZ and others, are somehow like extradited to the US and tried and tarred and feathered. I think Binance can operate in its kind of obscure, independent way for a long time, and also always from a crypto to crypto perspective, that would be quite straightforward. But I think Binance can be cut off of legacy financial rails through peer pressure amongst state level players.
Yeah, 100%. They're going to keep going after Binance until they say uncle and they're out of the US entirely. That's just, that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
How many people can gather in Abu Dhabi? Or where are they? Isn't that where they're going?
I mean, according to CZ, it's every other week. It's either Malta or Japan. I didn't realize he's a Canadian citizen. Apparently, that's what the SEC lawsuit said. But
yeah,
that's an option for everybody, I guess. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so price didn't go very far.
No, we're making it a much bigger deal than it is, maybe. But
is that bullish potentially, or are we waiting for the shoe to drop here?
So either this is a falling wedge into the neckline of an inverted Head and Shoulders,
which I have my cursor on because I just want you to recognize that. Surely,
I think it's a valid. Look, I want to be bullish.
In the Peter Brandt school of Head and Shoulders, this is clean, baby.
I'm all for it. The narrative's there. We didn't go as down as we weren't as bearish as I thought we were going to be on that news. We've sort of been in the daily cloud for a couple of weeks now and haven't really wanted to break down. It does seem to me like there's a slow retail, like tick, tick, tick of buying that may be just enough to sustain whatever this is. ETH has been down slightly less on average every day than Bitcoin, and you're seeing that play out in ETH BTC.
I'm pretty sure I tweeted bullishly about this at the Pico top of that weekly wick.
So I don't know. I mean, things look neutral to me. We've got CPI next week. We've got FOMC next week. We got a bunch of other ECBs next week. Everything's just sort of ranging. Summer range. People are touching grass. I don't know what to say other than that. But
I'm fully supportive of grass touching.
S&P looks parabolic to me. It
Parabolic. On what time frame? Daily?
I mean, just look at that. Look at that chart.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Still just in the range, in my opinion. But
the other question I have in the back of my head is like, how long can the S&P stay bullish without Bitcoin, ETH, like moving with that? You know,
yeah,
is this truly so isolated that the crypto, Bitcoin market, whatever you want to call it?
So this is the target. 4,300 for the S&P is my target going back a long time. I just thought this little cluster here was going to get tagged. Here we are. I do think I still find it unlikely for the S&P to just drive to new all-time highs. Whether it stops right now, whether it stops at 45 or 46, or whether it goes and makes an equal high at 4,800, I don't know. NVIDIA type stuff.
Well, it's going to be hard when 8 out of the 400 or 8 out of the 500 stocks in the S&P are driving the entire market.
It's crazy.
I think it's going to be hard to sustain that until there's more breadth, you know? Yeah. That doesn't mean like it's going to go down. I just think it's going to be tougher when literally most of the components are zero on the year relative to the others.
Are you going to buy a Ready Player One headset from Apple?
No, I've always been anti-Apple. My first computer was an Apple, and I think that's why I'm so anti-everything Apple.
Fascinating.
But yeah, Bitcoin looks great. It's at the 200 week. I think it's a great place to DCA. 5-10% lower maybe is fine. Like, what does it matter, right? I think over the long term, we got the halving coming up. I don't think that's priced in.
When is the halving?
April 2024.
Okay. A year of DCA.
Do I think the exchanges in the US are going to look a lot different in a year? I think so. Even if this litigation takes a while, I think it's going to look different. I don't want to see destruction of exchanges. That's just bad for consumers. But, you know, is crypto.com going to be here in a year? I don't know.
We're going to lose another arena name?
Binance US? I don't know. Gemini? I don't know. Coinbase and Kraken are really all we've got left, you know?
I think Gemini, Kraken, Coinbase, all fine. Crypto.com, I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
I don't know who else is left, you know? If you're an exchange and you're forced to delist everything, you're forced to get rid of staking, what do you have?
Coinbase is saying no so far.
Right.
They're saying screw you. So, I like that. They're essentially adopting the fight on behalf.
They're fighting for their life. Literally fighting for their life, right? Like their whole business model is staking.
I appreciate it.
Somebody's got to do it, I guess. But I don't know.
I look forward to the current players in the American regulatory landscape losing their jobs. I saw somebody make a good case that something like 100 million people participated on Coinbase markets in 2022 or 2021, something like that.
I onboarded with them in 2013. I want them to succeed. But when they're listing, again, I go back
No, but my point is you compare that 100 million, let's say even 2/3 of them are American or half of them are American. That's a significant percentage of the populace where you're basically saying like, screw you. Does that populace care to vote against that type of stance against Coinbase?
Well, I feel like this is like the Coinbase argument. It's so many. It already happened. It can't be illegal. Or like, your opinion doesn't matter. You're just the regulator. We're gonna make it happen. Like,
or how about the fact that the SEC had all of this information, including listings, when they approved Coinbase to IPO, and now they sue Coinbase saying they've been doing things since 2019 that the SEC says is wrong. Yet the SEC reviewed their entire IPO application, and it's on the market. So can't have your cake and eat it too, buddy.
There was that was before Gensler's time, was it not? I could be wrong on that.
I don't think so. But Either way, it's the institution, not the individual.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably one of the biggest things. But you can't just assume you IPO and then you're safe forever. Like, yeah, things change, rules change. But when we don't have clear rules of the road, this is what happens.
Wow, February 2021. He's been that broad in the market since 2021. But you know what he was doing in 2019? He was trying to become an advisor of Binance.
Also, not for nothing, FTX exploded. So is any of this reaction a surprise?
Reaction. It's highly reactionary. I agree with that.
Is any of it a surprise, though?
Oof, posture check alert says 4 years remain on his term. That's a long time, man. Maybe he'll get a job at a crypto company making a lot of money and he'll quit the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of it's a surprise. I think all these exchanges are listing a bunch of junk that, like it or not, if people want to trade it, the government's going to have an issue with that. That's it. That's my case. How much? Go to the Bitcoin chart on the daily.
Hold on, I want to show you something.
So yeah, we're at the 20. We're at the 200. We're in the cloud. I think below 20K would be problematic, but until then, I think we're fine.
That's fair enough.
Even then, like, if you're selling your alts, what are you buying? Stablecoin?
Yeah.
You can get, this isn't an ad, but you can get 4.65% on USDC on Coinbase, apparently. Just holding.
Good to know.
I'd love to get the SEC opinion on that one. Yeah. They're asking to be regulated, to be fair. USDC is.
Literally saying, please regulate us. All right. Can't load that.
You going after Chuck?
No. I want to load something. I've got to do it in a different browser.
Okay. Yeah, cloud-wise, we look good. I think ETH could maybe go down to 1,500. I don't know. Things look okay. It's just boring sideways summer. Come back in Q4 type thing.
All right. Look at this. So Charles Hoskinson is one of the largest private jet consumers in the world, 15th biggest polluter in the United States.
When I saw that list and I saw him towards the top, I was impressed. That's an impressive stat.
No, but May 3rd, 2021, somebody says, oh, he still flies commercial. He says, I'll only fly private when I find out how to make more money doing it than I'd spend. I think I've almost cracked that code. So he cracked the code.
I guess so. My question is, like, where's this guy going?
No, he's chartering his plane. He turned it into a business. He's making money flying private per his own tweet. I've never shared anything positive about Charles Hoskinson. And here I am, because I think that's hilarious. Flew commercial forever. And now he's one of the top private jet users in the world because he created a profitable side hustle out of it, which, as a billionaire and the founder of Cardano, that's important. I'm glad for him. And his
CEO of Cardano.
I see where you're going with that, and I'm not choosing.
You're not going to touch
it.
Yeah.
I think part of me just really thinks we're going to walk around this cloud. But
yeah, typically pre-halving year, we don't do much of anything.
Just
more people are throwing ETH at staking. Great. Yes, guys, I know. I sound like a Fed because I want some regulations in place. Sorry.
Protect me, Gary. Protect me.
That's never not going to be the case. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I can't. I don't have a good feeling in my stomach when I see the list of junk on Coinbase, Robinhood, Kraken. Kraken, by the way, probably worse than Coinbase. I know I'm pointing out Coinbase. Gemini, equally as offensive a list. Just listing anything,
I don't have that much more to add. To me, it's still fully touch grass season. Like, this is not easy to trade. The one thing I would say, the price not moving significantly with all of that type of news, which should create downward pressure, does encourage me that maybe there's an opportunity here to remain bullish.
Someone asking about the risk of being debanked if you try to onboard with an exchange. I mean, I don't think you can.
Well, I think it's a real threat that you could get money that's in crypto stuck in crypto.
Yes, but so Binance US doesn't even have USD rails, I don't think, anymore. But a sort of roundabout way you could onboard is going through something like Cash App or Venmo, PayPal, whatever the name is, to just onboard money and then transfer it off that way. Not financial advice, but that would be the
if
least.
If they shut down all of the rails, we're gonna go back to what it was like. No, back to like 2011, 2012, where you meet up with somebody in a parking lot and you hand them cash and they give you keys.
I don't know about that, but
I never did that. I just heard that was a thing.
No, I didn't do that either.
Before crypto rails really existed in a meaningful way, people had in-person meetups for cash for Bitcoin swaps. Local Bitcoins.
People in the chat reminding us that those have closed now, but that was pre-stablecoins though. So I don't know if Bitcoin pairs are ever going to regain their dominance relative to where they were in those years, because that was before Tether. We have Tether now. We have USDC.
Yeah, that's true. If crypto rails go away completely, which they won't, then your stablecoin businesses would also go away. And I don't know. There is a pathway here to further try to kill crypto if that's what their goals are. I think that's a pretty stupid goal.
The next step is ETH, definitely, and then after that, stablecoins.
Nah, the next step is non-ETH smart contract platforms that you think you can get easier.
Yeah, but they've already done that.
Which ones?
Why do you rob the bank? Because that's where the money is. Why do you go after ETH? Because that's where all the scams originate, right? Why do you go after BNB? Because that's where all the nonsense starts. Cut the snake
this
off.
Whole thing is this whole process of what you're talking about would take years and years. I'm not a big believer in that.
They went after 2 exchanges in a week. I don't know what's next week. I could see them going after USDC. I think they've even said as much. So more actions would not surprise me.
Yeah, that's fine, but it's going to take a long time to kill crypto, and then even if they try, it's not going to work. That's my big take.
That's fair. Price-wise, I think we're okay.
All right, let's end it there.
Sounds good.
Thanks for being here, y'all. Appreciate everyone for joining us. Now go back outside. Enjoy the summer.
The Fed is leaving the building.
Monuments crumble.
Bye.
In the blink of an eye. The easy river has just run dry.
Thanks, guys.
In a house of cards, I feel the breeze wound so tight I can barely breathe. Oh, the change